I mean, Kobe's like a guy that I hang around because I'm hoping that some of that kind of like rubs off, right? Not and that sounds, like I'm using him. I enjoy him for other reasons, but as far as like, he is doing something that is roughly aligned with like what I would want to do. Of course, different subject material, but you know, um, he's a comic artist, and I do see it as really admirable how like you know when like I'm not looking for perfection. I really don't think so, right? But uh, I am looking for at least some standard, some baseline. I don't expect my comic to look like you know professional manga coming out the chapter one gate. Uh, I just don't want it to look like utter shit.
Yeah.
So
And like that's the only reason I harp on you because I want to do that too, and that's why I'm trying to help Kobe, and that's why I'm trying to help you is because like I want you guys to succeed, to see that it like literally if you really the only thing I would ever project on both you and Kobe is that I want you guys to succeed so I could prove it to myself that it's possible. Like that's like the only time I will ever project onto you guys, and that's the truth. That's 100% the truth. Like like if I'm ever getting angry at you or trying to get you guys to move forward, it's quite honestly I want you guys to succeed so that it could feel possible. Even though it's like I don't even need that. Like even that sentence in and of itself is so illogical because it's like oh yeah it's definitely possible. People do it all the time. Fucking idiot, you know, right? But that's my internal monologue on it. But you guys are in the same precarious situation where you're in the internet and you're surrounded by people who don't understand the whole story, who might be in this case of, oh, it looks nice, it looks this, it's that, and be in this endless case of fucking admiration, being poor, or not really understanding the value of yourself. And I'm like, I can understand this. It could be incredibly difficult
also
to tread.
also
But even,
since we have an audience though, I'm just gonna give everyone here, uh, frankly, uh, if you're ever feeling like if I'm ever streaming my work and you wanna like critique me, the floor is always open. Like
Oh,
if
thank
I'm
God. I'm just
if
kidding.
I if I'm streaming, that's cause I want people to like if they see something wrong, I want you to say something. I'm talking to every single one of you guys here. I'm giving like everyone. This even people outside of this, but no one else outside of this can hear me. So please, for the love of God, like I don't I'm not streaming to be social. I'm streaming because I want people to give me feedback. So I mean, I know not no one has to say anything right now, but you know,
Mm.
uh, I would just appreciate it. And if any time in the future, if you've ever wanted to, give me some sort of feedback, I openly invite any sort of feedback. As far as like, if you see what I'm doing and think I could do it this way better, like whatever. So you guys have the floor and you have all the permission.
Oh, thank fuck, because I have so many. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you are
Oh,
so
thank
good.
God.
Cash, I have a
I don't
question.
want that. I don't,
Oh,
I
thank.
don't, I don't want. Oh my God, you're so good. How do I critique you?
no,
No,
you don't want. I
please.
don't. Oh my God, you're so good. But when I come in, like Stevie, stop doing the same shit. Well, shut the fuck up, Cash.
I don't say that. I'm like,
No, no,
Sometimes you
yeah.
do.
I'd be more likely to say
It's
that than
because you're
anything.
critiquing his soul, man. You're critiquing his being.
yeah,
Yes, I have to critique his being. Why? Because fuck you. I don't
No,
know.
it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I think. Cash, I have a
but no,
question. Like,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you,
Sorry, sorry.
Ben. I was just gonna say thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
So, like, Stevie did a few pages of the One Piece comic, and let's say that he realized he wasn't good at paneling. Like, why does he have to continue the rest of the 18 pages
Okay. This
to
is
hammer
very
home
easy to
that
answer.
point?
Okay,
Hmm.
this is very important. Let's say you're taking a test, right? And
Okay.
let's say about question this it's a 25 question test. Well, let's say about
Hmm.
question 4 you get confused. Do you throw away the test?
Yeah.
No,
That's exactly
no.
what I would do.
What would you do?
Continue the test to get the best score that I could.
Make another copy and throw it away.
But why? Well, why do we continue the test even though we don't understand question 4?
Because we might get a good
Get it
score
over
anyway,
with.
or a good
Yeah,
enough
but what?
score anyway.
Yeah, and what happens if we just throw away the test at question 4?
We get
Uh,
0
I get the
on the test.
satisfaction of just not having to do the test.
Does that answer the question?
Satisfaction.
But
I guess. Well, you mean that Stevie just wants something to be like to create something rather than just stop
I
whenever
suppose, yeah.
he.
okay, so
Is
the
that what you're
reason I
saying?
bring the reason I bring up study, practice, and experimenting, that is
Mm.
not just
Mhm.
art related. That's actually learning, because study, practice, experiment, and then review is how you learn in a traditional school. You study by
Yeah.
getting taught a subject, you practice by taking home the homework, you experiment by taking a test, and after the experiment, based off your score, you will review it, and then the logical way to get better at that subject is to go back to studying, review what you got taught, back to practicing, practice new things, especially the ones you're lacking in, and experiment again where you take the test again or you take another test similar in that field. And then you have
Yeah,
this,
but you would. Mhm. Yeah.
that's how you finish the cycle. And it's like when I see things like this, and it's like, oh, I suck at paneling, and I'm like, buddy, keep, I'm like the teacher above his head, like, keep on going. Here's question 5. He's like, no, paneling. I'm like, no,
Well,
but
well,
okay, just skip that
in
question,
it
skip that question.
that makes sense
Question
in a
5.
test. In
Alright,
a
so
in I guess that makes sense in like a test analogy, but like, what is the like the rest of the like if we wanted to take this to a school, like a class analogy, if you were to work with a teacher with a private with a mentor, you say I I'm stuck on this problem. Can you help me with this problem? What's wrong with like homework, treating like studying like homework, and
Well,
like going to like a mentor.
let's
Yeah, but
let's
you can't
attack
do that.
this again.
You can't do that when you're at the test, though.
Yeah,
You can do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
when you're at the test.
you can't,
not
yeah,
on the
yeah.
test.
Like,
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna
yeah,
attack
I
that.
don't
Yeah,
think
you can't do that on the test.
I don't think that's what I'm saying is like I'm kind of not ready for the test. So like I'm treating this like homework, like study sessions, like
Yeah,
like
but
I'm doing.
Stevie, how do you know if you've learned something? What is our
Well,
best way of
well,
acknowledging if we learned
ultimately,
it?
yes, you have to go and take the test.
Yes. So if
So
we don't take the test, are we ever going to be fully confident that we understand the subject material?
No,
I
wait. This is another thing completely.
I actually agree with you 100% here. I'm just, yeah, I mean, you say it's a confidence issue. I guess so, right? Because like I'm studying and I'm wanting to put off the deadline because I don't feel confident in taking that test.
Yeah, and that's why it's like I'm not saying just do it. I'm saying take the test, we'll review it, see how you did,
I
and then
just,
based off that, we'll move forward.
I,
And because
I
right
just,
now I know
you know,
you hit a wall. Because I know you hit a wall because you stopped that other test, and now you're like, you know what? Even though like basically you went from math to English, and you and you're just like, oh man, I can't do math. I'm gonna just go do English. And I'm like, yeah, that would be okay, but you stopped mid test, bud. Go back.
I
Go
don't
back
think
and
it's like
finish
changing
test.
the entire subject. I don't think I went
Okay,
to an
then
entirely different subject.
well, if anything, then it might have been like so you got stuck in
It's just like
calculus and you went back to
like
geometry.
if this was a final test, right? I think that's the best analogy here is like this is the final test. This is the big test that matters for like half of your fucking grade, right? That
See,
type of
that's where
deal.
you're taking the analogy too far. It's like you add a finality to things that just isn't there. There's no reason why your first
Well,
comic should be your last comic.
well, I'm not saying this is the final last thing ever. Like there's going to be like what classes, or sorry, there's going to be years after this, but this is like the final exam that would then allow you to progress up to the next
Just to
grade.
keep the test idea, because I want you to loosely follow that analogy of the test, but to keep it there, like you making your own comic is really a comprehension test. It's not final. Why? Because your final would be.
But it would
much
move me
further
up
down the road.
in terms of like it would take me from one level to the next.
Yeah.
That
Comprehension
then yeah. I mean you have to pass the class to make it to the next class to go from 7th to
I don't.
8th grade.
We're not passing classes.
Um,
We're not going from one level to the other. We're gonna see what you comprehend, and then we're gonna attack it from there.
It's like this, Steve. Like they do these kinds of tests for like students who have hard time, right? They give them like a comprehension test if they are either eligible or if they understand the subject, but it doesn't mean that they pass the class. It just means that they understand this part of the subject, not the entirety. You get me?
But
Yeah,
I've
Wait,
never
wait.
really
because again, like
I
I'm
really
being
never
100.
tested into classes. Like there wasn't many comprehension tests that I ever had to take.
No, like just like think about it like that. Like you're in a
The
subject, right? And then you're
the
having the subject, one part, like a sub part of the subject. What they do is they test you. You study, and then they test you if you're okay, if you understand it, and then you can head on to the other different parts of the subject. So that,
I think the
Let's again.
I think
we're
the
being,
closest
we're being
thing
incredibly loose with this.
right,
Like
right.
this,
I think the
I'm-
closest
this is a-
analogy to what that is like what in a classroom setting is a quiz.
Oh my God, Stevie,
No.
stop.
Yeah, it's
Stevie, no, Stevie. A quiz is a test. Okay, let's not play this game.
but it's like a pop quiz. They surprise you and
No.
say, "Do you know this material?"
No.
no.
Be looser.
Wait.
This analogy is not the end all be all. Be loose with the analogy, okay? This is
Keshe,
just
can
an analogy.
sorry.
I
Go
know
ahead,
it's
you're in.
just an analogy, but as far as like me understanding the analogy, this is going to be what's helping me because I didn't take a comprehension there. I never had to take a comprehension test.
Okay,
I just passed the previous year and then I went to but yeah, in art, I know that this is like a you take the test and in this like in art like that's what your work is, right? You if you want to make a comic, doing the comic is like taking the test. So
Yeah.
Wait.
and so yes, but the thing is, I never had like even after I would like take my test, no teacher would ever like go back with me personally and like review my results in nothing like that. But it would